Okay, so do you guys want to introduce yourself real quick before I jump in?
My name is Theo, real name is George. I am the community manager at Weavers. Weavers is a small team derived from Ford Research, and Ford Research is also behind Arweave, the actual chain, together with Arweave.org. So our job is to create fun events for developers to build on Arweave.
Hey, I'm Tom Wilson. I'm with MarkMaker. I have a NFT slash developer artist profile platform that also allows for intellectual property agreements and decentralized attestations and certificate of authenticity for creators that are also doing digital art and physical art.
Okay, cool. Well, let's dive into it. So, LTO, as an artist and being a community manager for Weavers, what drew you to Web3 and Arweave, and how has Weavers community support helped creative projects flourish on the permaweb?
Actually, it wasn't my artistic or experience as a community manager that brought me into Web3. It's actually my curiosity to learn more about blockchain technology. And actually, like Phil, started out in 2017 when I built my own mining rig on Ethereum and started mining Ethereum and also mining Dogecoin and Garlic Coin, which nobody knows about anymore. But on the Weaver side, I'm very proud that we, make sure we take creative approaches to incentivize creatives and developers to build on the Arweave blockchain. We have events, virtual events and RL events like Permahacks, which is going on right now. We also have Hack the Weave. We also have bounties through BountyBot that, just offer an easy way to make some money just to be a creative. That could be creating a meme or creating a full-fledged app that's really going to innovate the ecosystem. So I'm just really proud to be a part of this community right now. Thank you.
Every week, you host the Weavers Spaces on Wednesdays, which is a great meeting place for Arweave Alpha, right?
Yes, I feel like I'm doing a lot at Weavers now. I am hosting our Weavers Weekly Spaces on Wednesday at 5 p.m. on X. And I also do the educational content on our official YouTube channel. You can just Google Weavers and Arweave together and you'll find it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, so Tom, this is a topic that we talk about a lot. And I'm just curious, what inspired you to explore Arweave for archiving and managing art? And how do you see decentralized IDs being part of this?
Well, I see decentralized IDs as being step one. It's really the wallet or the different ways of creating provenance. So when you mint an NFT, you usually use a creator wallet, and the decentralized ID is that wallet. But there is an issue with artists using multiple wallets and fragmenting that ID. So it's important to gather multiple wallets and multiple sources of IDs into one central ID and make that a decentralized ID, almost a combination or a compilation of multiple things into one ID. And that's what ARNS is doing is really good with as well, because you're able to take multiple wallets, multiple social profiles, and a direction of where the actual media and metadata is and put it all into one and have provenance.
That's tight. That's kind of what Phil was showing us with RNS, right? Like
Exactly.
the ability, especially with the profiles, with the Linktree stuff, which is pretty cool. Phil, I'm going to come back to you because I've got a question for you. But LTO, you were talking about how Weavers does a lot of virtual and in-person events. And I'm just curious, how do in-person and virtual events drive creativity, and how do they drive them in different ways?
No, great question. Like I said before, at Weavers, we understand that Web3 is not only about developers, but it's also about the creatives, the artists, the people that are in spaces every day. So we take it upon ourselves to be where the community is. Like I said before, I host weekly spaces. We also have our YouTube channel where we're constantly putting out educational content, but we're also in Discord, hosting workshops, incentivizing the community in many ways. And like you said, IRL events. This past summer, we held Arweave Day 24-hour hackathon in Berlin for Arweave's 6th anniversary. So that was a lot of fun, and we saw some really cool projects come out of those events.
And didn't you just come back from South America to do an event
Yes.
there? Yeah.
We also had an event in Colombia recently, Illuminarios, and it was a lot of fun. Just getting to know a little bit about that country. I've never been there before. Myself, I was born here in New York, born and raised native, but my parents are from the Dominican Republic, so it was great to visit Latin America. But yeah, we got a really cool app out of that event called String Mint, which leverages our fleet, which is decentralized storage on Arweave. Pretty new tech, check it out. And that's sort of like a TikTok kind of app on our fleets.
That's what's up. That's cool. Tom, so speaking of merging IRL and online communities and identity, how do you think RNS can help the artists who use MarkMaker share their work and help spread their careers as artists?
Well, I think that RNS, the name service, is a really good way to put a friendly name to a link that used to be a hash that is connected to both metadata and a media file. And being able to, in the future, as this gets built out, being able to utilize those names instead of these hashes is and combine them with whatever provenance you already have and put it all into one digital identity. I think that that's what the key is to moving forward. It's really a missing piece of what's happening with art and with artists right now, especially in the NFT space, because provenance is really helped with blockchain because of the transparency and the on-chain ledger. However, this link of what decentralized identity is fragmented, and I think our RNS is a good way, is a really good first step or tool to be able to put all this stuff together. It's not there yet. It needs to be developed a little bit more, but I think that communities like this, that they can come together and they can work together, not on their individual projects, but they could work together and try to come up with a standard, then we can move forward. And RNS is a great tool and a great starting point in that direction.
That's awesome. Well, what's interesting about decentralized data is that in the attention economy, you don't want to decentralize the attention, right? So it's like when things happen, community events like this, which is like so awesome you all came out to, helps us come together and realize we have the common goal of preserving our history online. And the human readable names make that more accessible, which is like cool how you're doing that for artists. And I guess my next question for you, LTO, yes. What projects have Weavers brought to light that like you're especially proud to have worked on promoting?
Oh, thank you for that question, because since I joined Weavers back January of this year, I've only seen amazing projects come out of our events. I'll mention some, key projects like SQL Lite is a developer tool built in AO that's used across the ecosystem. I'll mention Permaverse, which I'm also the community manager there. Simon and I were able to build a very, thriving community in just days. Our Discord went from 0 members to 2,000 in hours. And that's all thanks to a game that he built, Permaverse, with Unity and AO on the back end. And it's just a clicker. People just love petting Dum Dum. If you know about Dum Dum, that's what we're talking about. You got to go pet Dum Dum and also pull out his firearm and shoot you digitally. But that came out of one of our events. I can also mention Petarec, like I said, String Mint, and there are many other projects that come out of these hackathons. What else can I mention? WebCU, another tool by Elliot, an amazing developer in the ecosystem. And I mentioned Reality Protocol is huge. That also came out of one of our hackathons. It started as Gather Chat, and that evolved into Reality Protocol, which is its own engine, which anyone can use to spin up a world, a little 2D metaverse, or NPC agents, which can work together with AI, all built inside of AO.
Dang. That's
Sorry, nerd out there a little bit.
No, that's cool. It's fun to nerd out with you guys. I'm going to wrap it up since we have 1 minute left. And I'm just curious, is there something that you've uploaded to the internet, specifically on Arweave, that you're very excited about? Like maybe the first thing you uploaded, or a piece of media or an app or something that has specific meaning? I'm curious to start with Phil.
It's a tough question because there's so much stuff out there. I think for me personally, my old band videos from in like a battle of the bands we did in high school. So that's on an R drive out there. If you want to find it, I don't have it on my homepage yet. Maybe I should put it there so you can see me as a high schooler, like playing in this battle of the bands. Like there wasn't even a stage, like we're just in an auditorium. So that's like a personal thing for me. LTO, you just mentioned Reality Protocol. I think one of the games built on that is called Llama Land, which is like you're in this world and you can talk to, I don't know, it's called the Llama King, it's integrated with Meta's Llama 3 LLM, which was uploaded to Arweave, and this game connects into it and leverages it. So I think that's really different. Games in general, I think, are cool on Arweave. I saw there's this like DOSBox game emulator thing that came out. So you're like emulating DOS, like an operating system is emulated in the browser and you can play DOS games. So I think that's cool from the perspective of, sure, games, whatever, DOS games, cool. But, I get asked the question, how am I going to get my data? How can I render this website or this thing 50, 75, 100 years from now? Well, there's going to be emulators, right? We're already emulating DOS. There's Windows 95 emulators out there. There's all kinds of things, and I just anticipate that to continue to happen. And so your data will be emulated in the future. Maybe it's in a neural link in your brain and not a browser like Chrome, but I kind of anticipate that. And then I think one of the other really cool things, I had it open before. There was this artist, BT, who did this generative music video thing called the Orbs, and I had it up before, but it's like you load it and it's this image that's like continually generating something new, and it combines music that it's, again, always something new. So that's, I think, cool because it's there, it's living forever. You can always go to this page and see this orb floating around listening to one of BT's songs. So I think that's a cool, like something new that can only really be built on a platform like Arweave.
When I first came into the Web3 space and spaces 3 years ago, after making some bad decisions on Robinhood and following Dogecoin, I found NFTs. And as a developer, I started building Web3 companies. Just built their collections out, 10K collections in 2022. And I quickly realized that I needed to become my own founder. So I took that journey on myself, created Hoodrats NFT back in 2022. But quickly, I wanted to make sure I had permanence for my collection. And I knew IPFS or Pinata was not an option, because if you don't pay that fee, if you use Pinata, they disconnect the linkage to your image, and that's not an option if you want something to be permanent on chain. So I made sure to look into Arweave, and I uploaded about 20 gigabytes of images and metadata for my collection on Arweave. So right now, if you buy a Hoodrat on ETH, the data is secured on Arweave, but I also implemented some new technology, token-bound accounts on Ethereum. You can look it up. I'm not going to nerd out on that, but that's also on my collection. So all of these were decisions I made to make sure I assured permanence, and after I'm gone, my collection can live on, because it's a way for us to leave a legacy as humans. As Dominican, our culture was erased from this planet, and we couldn't do anything about it. With Arweave, we can secure our history, our culture, and no one can erase it. No more book burning, thanks to Arweave. Let's go. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have the same thing. I started to do the research for MarkMaker, and it was a creator platform, and it needed to upload information to the PermaWeb, and I found the same problems. I didn't want to have a pinning service like Pinata or any of the IPFS just because of the permanence. Like if the platform goes down, so does the person's NFT, and they're going to get a 404. So that's where I was really drawn towards Arweave, and that's why I started to build it into my platform. And that's why all of my certificate of authenticities, attestations, they're all tied to Arweave. And then all of the intellectual property agreements, they're all stored on Arweave, and they're linked through metadata. That's stored on Arweave. So everything is linked onto Arweave. So if my platform goes down, or if any of the other platforms that are also associated with my project, the NFT and all of the provenance and everything is alive on Arweave. So that's what I did as well, just for the same reason. It needs to be permanent.
Well, we got some beautiful souls up here. Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming. Shout out to Anthony, our community manager. Go get some merch and some pizza. Thanks, Station 3. Let's do this again. And thank you to our panelists. Thank you.